Start.
ओके. नमस्कार आणि सगळ्यांना गुड इव्हनिंग. आपण हेल्दी लाईफ या आमच्या इनिशिएटिव्हद्वारे तुम्हाला काही हेल्दी लाईफस्टाईल बद्दल टिप्स घेऊन येतोय. अँड वी वर ट्राईंग फॉर अवर युट्यूब लाईव्ह सेशन टुडे, बट ड्यू टू सम टेक्निकल एरर वी couldn't do it. But we are carrying it out on Facebook Live, and we are here with some interesting tips for you regarding your fluid intake and your water and other fluids in diet, what you need to know, what you need to avoid, and what you can include. That's what we are going to discuss today. So आपल्या सगळ्यांनाच माहिती आहे की पाणी हे आपल्या आयुष्यात खूप महत्वाचा घटक आहे. पाणी म्हणजे जीवन असं म्हणतात मराठीमध्ये. And water, our body is more than 50% of our body is made up of water and other fluids. More than 70% of our blood is water. So we all know that water is important, but most of us neglect water and most of us drink different fluids which are not really required by the body, but thinking that these fluids can quench the thirst, we drink those fluids and consider them for water intake. But that's where we go wrong, and today we are going to see what exactly we need to do and what exactly we need to consume when it comes to your water and fluid intake. So first of all, I think we all must know how much water and how much fluid we need. And let me tell you that there is no specific rule for this, because your water requirements, they change drastically with different variables like your age. So as you age, you need less water. So during infancy, you need more water. During young adulthood, you need comparatively more water than your elder age. So age is an important factor for your water intake estimate. Another factor is environment or climatic factor, climatic temperature. And we all know in summers we feel very thirsty. In summers we need more water because we lose more water through sweat and to maintain our body temperature. So along with age, we discussed about climatic factor for temperature outside. Then even temperature inside the house, like some people use AC or some people work in the environment where there is AC throughout the day. For example, people working in IT industries or people working in some hospitals, they have got centralized AC or AC in their cabins. So such people may require less water because even if the outside temperature is more, the temperature, ambient temperature in their room or in the environment surrounding them is less comparatively. So they may need less water compared to people working under the sun or working outside in the sun. So that's another factor. Your working environment or climatic factors inside the home or inside the work premises. The next factor is your exercise or activity level. So those who are really active, those who work out more than others, they require more water. Even people who are lean, those who have more muscle mass, they have more water in their body and they need more water. People who are fat, they have less water inside the body. It doesn't mean that they need less water, they should drink less water, but that there is a difference in water composition based on the lean muscle and fat composition of the body. So there are such different factors, and that is why we cannot, make one simple rule when it comes to your water intake. The general idea is to have, we all have heard that you have to drink 7 to 8 cups of water or 7 to 8 glasses of water every day, 2 to 3 liters of water every day. But as I said, it changes as per your age, environment, climatic factors, and activity levels, as well as your weight, body weight. So let's see, is there any specific formula to count it or to calculate it? And there is a rough formula to do it. So for this formula is for young or middle-aged adults, and the formula says you need to have around 30 ml of water per kg body weight. So for example, if I am a person with 50 kg weight, then 50 into 30, that means I need minimum 1.5 liters of water, 1500 ml. So 1.5 liters of water in a day. That's minimum quantity. So if you increase it a bit or take more water than that, that's okay. But don't take water less than this limit. So that's the rough formula. So another example, if a person weighs 60 kgs, then he may need around 1800 ml of water. That means around 1.8 to 2 liters of water throughout the day. So that's how you have to calculate. That's a simple thing. And you must have heard again that a person cannot survive without water for more than 3 days. So this is what is the importance of water in your daily lifestyle. And you shouldn't neglect water, because especially in summer, if you do not take appropriate amount of water, and at the same time if you are losing a lot of water through sweat, it is likely that you can land up in dehydration, and the water composition of your body may go down, and you may be in trouble because of that. So to avoid that, you have to have good amount of fluid, especially in summer and throughout the year. But what where we go wrong is while choosing the type of drink or a type of fluid we usually prefer instead of water. So water is the best fluid to have, but we are sometimes bored of drinking water all the time. We need some flavor to it, or we need some, some nice smell to it, so that we keep on drinking different fluids. And that's why I want to tell you that all those fluids may not be healthy for you. So whatever you drink, you should give minute attention to it. What exactly are you gulping? Because again, there is a possibility that with water you can consume more calories if you neglect what is put in the water. Because you gulp water and unknowingly you can put excess amount of water inside your body. So it is very important, because while we eat, stop eating after some time when we feel full. But it doesn't happen with water, because you tend to gulp it, and in summer, especially when you're thirsty, you drink more. So you have to see to it that your fluid which you're drinking doesn't contain more amount of calories. Otherwise, it is likely that you can gain weight and you can gain fat at the end of the season, and that's what we don't want to have. So basically, now I would like to discuss about some common fluids in daily diet. So water is the commonest one, but again, people, especially in summer, they tend to drink a lot of sweetened drinks like sarbat, even soft drinks, carbonated beverages. People stock up their refrigerators with these fancy kind of drinks, and I've seen people going to malls and buying 2 liter bottles, 5 liter bottles of such soft drinks, and I get horrified looking at such people. How can they drink so much of carbonated beverages, especially kids? They are not happy with plain water. They always want some flavor to it, and they usually prefer something like Rasna, Mangola, whatever, Fanta. So I'm not very familiar with such drinks, but yes, people do prefer such carbonated beverages, and I know that that's not healthy for you. And that's what I'm going to teach you, how to know how much it causes harm to your body later. But that's one point, that don't stock up your refrigerators with such kind of drinks or ready to make drinks. Like there are some powders available in the market. You can just reconstitute those powders in water, and a drink is ready. But these powders are loaded with sugar always. You have to always read food labels before you drink anything which is commercially packed or comes as a packaged food. The next point is about homemade things. Like the next common fluid which we drink, and mostly adults, is tea and coffee. Those are favorite drinks of all of us, and many people cannot start their day without a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. But that's a fluid which is not good for you again, because it gives again little amount of fluid but more amount of toxins to your body. So tea has toxins like tannins, coffee has toxins like caffeine, and there are many more toxins in it. And these toxins may also interfere with absorption of important nutrients in your diet. So, for example, nutrients like calcium, nutrients like iron can be, their absorption gets hampered if you drink a lot of tea and coffee, especially with food. So it is important to limit quantity of such fluids in your diet which are really not good for you and which may cause harm to you. The next comes about drinks containing a lot of salt. So even if people are drinking some healthy fluids like buttermilk, they put a lot of salt to it. They put even if it is lime water, they put a lot of salt, they put a lot of sugar to it, which is really not necessary. So you need fluids, you need some electrolytes. I can agree. In summer, you can put some amount of salt to it, but not more than a pinch of salt. That is what is required. A pinch of salt is sufficient to get enough amount of sodium you are losing through sweat. So don't overdo it. Then next comes is ready-made soup. People are consuming ready-made soups like anything because people think that soups are healthy, and ready-made soups are advertised such that those soups are actually natural. They give a lot of important nutrients to you, but that's not true. Believe me. Anything which is stored and anything which is preserved will not be helpful for your body in any way. So it is important to have fresh food. So you can have soups in your diet, but always prefer freshly made soups at home with fresh vegetables and maybe some other ingredients. And you can also put food ingredients such as some spices to your soups. So soups will be further more healthy. It won't give you just fluid, but they will also provide some important micronutrients to your body too. Then the next comes about juices. Many people again think that juices are very healthy and they drink fruit juices like anything again. And again, there are two types of fruit juices. One which are in packaged form, like packed juices, like they advertise such juices as real juices or natural juices. But just give it a logic that can a juice be natural and fresh and real if it is stored for months in the malls and months on the racks? It cannot be natural and it cannot be 100% real. It has to be processed so that it remains good. So such juices, don't believe in those advertisements. We are going to see some examples later that how exactly these juices are made and what exactly they contain. But yes, that's the point to remember. And even if the juice is homemade, so some people argue that yes, we know that packaged juices are not good for us. But what if the juice is made at home? Can we have that? So homemade juices are again, if it is a fruit juice, I would say no to it because there are three simple reasons behind it. First of all, juice, for extracting one glass of juice, you need at least 2 to 3 fruits. For example, if it is orange juice or if it is sweet lime juice, you require at least 2 to 3 sweet limes to extract one glass of juice. But when it comes to eating, do you eat 2, 3 oranges or can you eat 3 sweet limes at a time? No. So you can maximum eat 1 sweet lime at a time or 1 or 2 maximum oranges at a time and you will be full. Why? Because fruit will give you fiber, and when you make juice out of it, you remove those fibers, and that's one of the most important drawbacks of drinking juices. That's the one reason of not drinking juices. And some people also add sugar to juices if the fruit is not sweet, so you add more sugar. And as I said, satiety value is not there for juices. So after drinking juice, you feel hungry very soon, which doesn't happen with a fruit. You chew fruit, so chewing gives you satiety or feeling of fullness, and that a glass of juice may not be able to do. So juices are always, I say that they're not good for you. Prefer fresh fruits, and even some fruits, they contain lot of fluid. Like for example, watery fruits like watermelon, like muskmelon, they contain almost 80 to 90% of water. So if you are bored of drinking just plain water, in summers you can prefer these fruits without any problem. You can drink plain water, and along with that you can have watery fruits such as watermelon and muskmelon. Watery fruits such as oranges and sweet limes. So that's again important point. Then there are again some important fluids in your diet, like you must be knowing about kokum. And kokum is very good for relieving acidity. That's a very good antacid in your diet, I would say. But again, what do you do with kokum? You put kokum extract in water, add a lot of sugar, and have it as kokum syrup. Or you buy ready-made kokum syrup. So syrup is with sugar. and you add water to it and you drink it. So again, you are pouring a lot of sugar in your body through those, sherbets. So it is important to have kokum in your diet, but not in the form of sarbat or with sugar. You can have it without sugar. Plain kokum peels are available in the market, or even kokum extract without sugar is available in the market. मराठीत त्याला आगळ म्हणतात. So if you can put that in water and simply add little amount of jeera powder to it, it tastes very well. So you can have it in the form of like just plain kokum drink without sugar. Even with kokum, you can have another good or healthy drink called solkadi. Solkadi is a famous preparation in Konkan or in coastal areas. So what they do is they add coconut milk to it. So kokum extract plus coconut milk and some spices like little ginger, garlic, or some green chili, and it becomes a wonderful drink. It is very healthy. It is. It also gives a lot of satiety, so you don't feel hungry very soon after drinking this healthy sort of fluid, and that's a good option for drinks in this summer and hot season. Then again, another drink I would suggest is jaljeera. Jaljeera is again a good option for you in the summer. So you can have little cold water. You can add jaljeera powder. You can make jaljeera powder at home simply by adding jeera powder, black pepper powder, hing, and a little amount of black salt. So that becomes your jaljeera powder. You can sprinkle lime to your jaljeera mixture and add some mint leaves or mint extract to it. Add some sabja seeds and it becomes a fantastic drink. It is a very healthy drink because of sabja. You also get some amount of soluble fiber, and also pudina gives a good flavor to it, very nice flavor. Pudina also adds some iron to it, and iron and lime or iron and vitamin C combination is again a good combination. So such drinks which are helpful for you in many ways should be included in the diet and not the drinks which will harm you in longer run. Another important drink I would say in summer especially is coconut water, and it is widely available, and especially in season or in situations like COVID. I think coconut water is the best option because it is well protected. It doesn't come in contact with anything, so you can bring coconut water or bring that tender coconut shell at your home, keep it for a while, wash it properly, and then you can just break it and have coconut water fresh without any contamination. But mind you that those who have some renal problems or those who have some kidney problems and have high potassium levels, for them they need to know that coconut water is not good for them, or they cannot have it because coconut water has a lot of potassium. And in general also, those people with kidney diseases, I would recommend them that consult your doctors first to know your fluid requirements and which fluids are good for you. This discussion is for general public and not for any special people having some diseases or comorbidities, especially with kidneys. Yes, coming to next point, buttermilk is again an excellent drink to have, and throughout the year, people think that buttermilk can give them cough and cold, but that's a myth, I would tell you. Some people are allergic to it. Some people, they really experience cough and cold symptoms after taking curds or buttermilk. They can avoid buttermilk or curds in their diet. But people who can have it without any problem and just out of fear they are avoiding buttermilk just because of the fear that they will catch cough and cold after drinking it. It's just worthless. You need not do it. You can drink fresh buttermilk without any problem throughout the year. And especially what I would suggest, don't have buttermilk which comes as a packaged buttermilk or ready-made buttermilk. So always prefer buttermilk which is homemade. Like you have to set curds at home and then make buttermilk, and then you can have it. That's a better way of having buttermilk, because when you buy buttermilk from outside, it is always pasteurized because they want to prolong its shelf life. And pasteurized buttermilk won't give you a good amount of good bacteria. So what we call probiotic. Probiotic are good bacteria, and buttermilk is a great source of such probiotics. And pasteurized buttermilk won't be able to provide you with such probiotics. So always include buttermilk which contains those bacteria. Live culture of bacteria means homemade buttermilk. So that was another great drink or great fluid which you can include in your diet in this summer. And apart from summer, even in winter, even in rainy season, your fluid intake should be good. And for that, you can include hot beverages in your diet, not tea and coffee, but hot beverages such as hot soups I've already mentioned, but other hot beverages or hot fluids like kanji. So different kanjis you can make out of ragi, out of rice, out of dal, even dal water, simple dal water. When you cook dal, you add excess of water to it, and after your dal is cooked, you just drain it and have that water as soup. Or even sometimes we hang curd at home, to make a chakka out of it. So when you hang curd, some water drips out of it, and that water is known as whey water. And that whey water is again an excellent source of proteins and micronutrients. So you can have that whey water also as a good source of fluid as well as important nutrients in your diet. Some important fluids like kanji, as I was mentioning, even ambil, which is a drink made up of nachni and buttermilk. So such drinks are really healthy, and you can include such drinks and fluids in your diet. But as I said, you have to limit wrong or bad fluids and bad drinks such as sweetened drinks, carbonated beverages, tea and coffee, and lastly, alcoholic beverages. Yes, when it comes to drinks, people take it as alcoholic drinks or alcoholic beverages, and I must tell you that alcoholic beverages, they have many drawbacks. We are going to see those drawbacks and the types of alcoholic beverages which can be better than others in one of the slides. But yes, what I would recommend is it is always better to stay away from alcohol. I never give any recommendations to my clients. Many of my clients ask me, ma'am, tell us which alcohol can we drink, or ma'am, tell us how much alcohol can we drink, how frequently can we drink. But for them, I suggest them some tips if they are really reluctant to, stay away from it. But I always stress upon that people should avoid alcoholic drinks as far as possible, because there are many drawbacks. We are going to see them later. So that was the overview of my today's session. And now I would like to show you some slides where I have shown some comparison of these drinks, and wherein I am going to show you how to read food labels on the packaged food. So that's what I'm going to do. Just give me a minute. I'm sharing my screen with you, and then we will come to know why I'm stressing upon such healthy fluids and why am I asking you to avoid certain non-essential or bad fluids in your diet. So if you can see here, this is just an example, and this is true for every carbonated beverage. It's not that Coca-Cola is the only one, but all carbonated beverages like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Mirinda, and whatnot, anything which is carbonated beverage with sugar has same nutritional fact. So you have to read food label which comes at the back of the tin or at the back of the can, and you will see it is really very frightening. If you can see here, I have made a circle that in just one can of Coca-Cola or one can of any carbonated beverage, you will get 40 grams of sugar. So it is really frightening. 40 grams of sugar is like 8 teaspoons of sugar. And our daily requirement of sugar is 0. I always say that you need not have any sugar in your diet. You will not die, because every food is converted to sugar at the end of the digestion. So you need not take simple form of sugar at all in your diet. And whereas this drink is giving you 8 teaspoons, 40 grams of sugar just at one go, which is really frightening. And it has no proteins, it has no other important nutrients. They are mentioning it. See, last line you can read. It is not a significant source of any other important nutrient like fibers. They have mentioned vitamin B, iron, calcium, potassium. So we need all these nutrients, and this drink is therefore called drink giving empty calories. So this drink provides just plain calories, 140 calories without any important nutrient. On the top of it, This drink is a source of harmful toxins like phosphoric acid and caffeine. So do you want to have a cocktail of such poisonous mixture in your diet? No, your answer will be no, I know. So what can you have? If you compare it with just simple coconut water, which we've already discussed, coconut water is going to give you just plain 50 kilocalories, half of it, not half, one third of one can of Coca-Cola or any carbonated beverage. It is natural. It is a great source of electrolytes. It is safe and hygienic, as we've already discussed. So if you compare a natural and an artificial drink or fluid, you will know that natural fluids are always better than artificial or commercially processed fluids. So my message is read before you drink. Let's go to the next slide. I was talking about real juices, and many people think they are really real, and they have these juices without any question in their mind. But for them, I would suggest that they have to just flip the carton or flip the Tetra Pak, and they have to read. They need to read before they drink. So real fruit juice, is it really real? And you will come to know. First we will see the ingredients list, which you can see in the green square at the bottom. So they have mentioned ingredients as water, pomegranate juice just 23 or 25%, and rest is sugar, liquid glucose. Pomegranate concentrate is just 2.2%, and there are some regulators and preservatives and antioxidants. Like for preservation, they are adding. They have also added some salt to it. And below you can see it contains only 35% of fruit juice content. So one third of it is just real fruit juice, and remaining 60% of it, so two third of it is not real. And what would you say? So 30% is much less than 60%, and I really won't recommend such juices for you because they are not really natural juices. And if you see the nutritional facts per 100 ml, these facts are per 100 ml, and nobody is going to drink just 100 ml of juice. So people drink 200, 250, 300 ml of juice minimum at a time. So you have to multiply it by 3 when it comes to your serving size. So energy 60 kilocalories for 100 ml. So if it is 300 ml glass of this juice, then calories will become 180 calories. So you are drinking 180 calories unnecessarily with one glass of this juice. There are no proteins as such, only carbohydrates. Natural fruit sugar is 5 grams, but added sugar, see, added sugar per 100 grams is 10 grams. So if you are going to drink 300 ml of this juice, you will ingest 30 grams of sugar without any reason and without knowing it. So I don't think such real juices advertised to be real are good for you. And if you just compare it with a pomegranate, and nobody eats one full pomegranate at a time, but nobody cannot eat maybe. So I have taken these facts for half or three-fourths of pomegranate, and half to three-fourths of pomegranate will give you, or any fruit will give you around 80 calories, 80 kilocalories. See, compared to 180 kilocalories for 300 ml of juice, a fruit is giving just 80 calories. And apart from it, 5 grams of fiber. So if you see the food label on the juice, there are no fibers at all. There are no fibers because it's a juice. But pomegranate has good amount of fibers, and you will get those fibers only if you eat the pomegranate. So around 5 grams of fibers, and it is a great source of vitamin A, vitamin C, iron. So it is a good choice to have fruit instead of any fruit juice, whether it is homemade or packaged. That's the message from this slide. And yes, again, do you really need it? Next fluid or next drink here, and we have discussed it again, but I would like to stress upon it. Tea and coffee. So standard cup of tea and coffee, it gives you 100 unnecessary kilocalories or 100 unnecessary calories in your diet with around 10 grams of sugar. So every cup of tea usually has 2 teaspoons of sugar, and that's what I've taken here. So 10 grams of sugar unnecessary. And people don't drink just one cup of tea throughout the day. People drink 2, 3, 4. I have seen people drinking 10 cups of tea per day. And if you multiply it, just let's take average as let's say 2 cups. You're taking 200 kilocalories and 20 grams of sugar unnecessarily. Plus, it is a source of tannins, caffeine, and it is addictive. People are addicted to tea and coffee, so they feel uneasy if they don't get their tea and coffee on time. So is it really good for you? I don't think it is. And if you are getting addicted to something, that means your brain is not in control of your sense. It is going in control of something else, and that is really frightening. So I would say stay away from such drinks. Drinking sometimes, occasionally, once a while or 1 cup in a day, small quantity with less sugar is fine. But too much of tea with loaded sugar, with the way we make tea, we boil it for long, and such kind of tea I won't recommend to anyone. And it also hampers nutrient absorption, as we have already discussed. So what I would recommend is lime water, or even herbal tea is a good option for your regular tea. And if you see lime water with black salt, it gives you just 10 calories. So 1/10 of your tea calories. And it is a great source of vitamin C and electrolytes. It improves iron absorption, whereas tea, it reduces iron absorption. So you have to drink fluids which are going to help you in something or else, and not the drinks which are going to harm you. And here comes your many people's favorite alcoholic drink. But mind you that see, the serving size of different alcoholic drinks is different, and those drinks which contain less amount of alcohol, those drinks are taken in more quantity. For example, beer contains 5% of alcohol, so it is less than or comparatively lesser than other alcoholic drinks. But people won't consume just 30 ml of peg, or small peg of beer, but they will consume lot of it, 350 ml. Even 350 ml is just one serving of beer. People take 2, 3, 4 servings at a time, and which is going to again pour empty calories. Like 350 ml of beer gives 128 calories, unnecessary, without any other nutrients, just plain calories. And this is the reason why people who drink alcohol, they put on weight, their belly is known as pot belly, because they store a lot of fat in their bellies. And I don't think this is a good drink to have in anyone's routine. So if you ask me, I would say stop it at once, as soon as possible. And so because it gives empty calories, no nutritional value it has, and lastly, importantly, it is addictive. It is linked with many other social, causes, socially harmful behavior. So what I would suggest, stay away from this drink as far as possible. Give it up as soon as possible. And last important message is, you have to, the title of today's talk was Mind What You Drink, and that's what we have discussed for these 30-40 minutes till now. And my simple message is, prefer water whenever you are thirsty. Having sarbat sometimes, having some other fluid sometimes is fine, but water should be your first preference. It should be your first choice. So have water, plenty of water, calculate your water requirement as I suggested. Consult a nutritionist, qualified nutritionist, expert if you really want to know your own water requirement, and try to match it as far as possible with water and fluid, without any calories or without any added sugar, and without the fluids which are not addictive or not harmful to your body. That's the message at the end of this session. And thank you for joining us for our now it is Facebook live video. We couldn't do YouTube live video today because of some technical error, but yes, every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. we are going to have YouTube live session on our YouTube channel, and please do join us every Tuesday and Friday, because many experts will be talking on various health issues and some important practical tips, as we have seen today. So I think we will end the session here. I would like to
few questions
answer,
also.
yes, I would like to answer some questions if we have. Let me take the questions. Just give me a minute. So Bhakti has asked, can we count tea, dal, soup, or like fluids in daily water intake? So what I would suggest, tea, I won't say you should count. And yes, drinking dal, if it is thin dal, if you are drinking dal as soup and it is like dal water, then you can include dal. Soup you can definitely include. So these the watery fluids, like those who are really thin in consistency, can be counted in your daily water intake. Yes. The next question we have got is electrol powder can be added in water and can it be had in a day? So electrol powder, it is for people who really are dehydrated or those who have some symptoms of dehydration like weakness, like lethargy, like some lack of concentration. Maybe some elderly may face imbalance or tremors. So those who have these symptoms of dehydration can drink electrol powder. Otherwise, having healthy fluids as we discussed today is sufficient. And in summer, always add a pinch of salt to your fluids like lime water, like buttermilk. So it will take care of your electrolyte requirement. Electrol has sugar in it or glucose in it, and that's where I really don't like to recommend it to everyone as a rule. So don't have it as a regular practice if you are not facing any symptoms or if there are no indications for it. For a general purpose, electrol powder is not required, but for special cases, for dehydration cases, for loose motion cases where really there is electrolyte imbalance in the body, for elderly maybe, it can be taken. Diabetic people should take care because, as I said, electrol has a good amount of sugar and glucose. It can impact sugar levels very quickly. So that should be again considered while drinking electrol powder. Archana has asked one question. जेवण करताना आधी किंवा नंतर किती पाणी प्यावे? Yes, again good question. And what I would like to suggest that some people think that if you drink a lot of water before your meal, it will dilute your gastric juices and it can hamper digestion. But there is no such evidence. So what I usually recommend that those who want to lose weight or those who want to lose some fat, I suggest them to have a glass of water 30 minutes or 15 to 20 minutes before their meal. So they will feel little full and they will eat less. So that will help them in that way. Those who want to gain weight, if they drink water before meal, it is going to harm them because they will feel full, as I said, and they won't eat much, they won't gain weight. So people, those who are interested in gaining weight, please don't drink water before your meal, especially kids. Don't give them a lot of water before they start their meals, but adults can do it if they want to lose weight. And during meal, I would say you can drink sips of water, but don't overdo it because you are already chewing the food. And some people gulp food with water if they drink water during the meal. So that's what we want to avoid. So during the meals, have sip by sip water and make sure you drink water after you have completely chewed a bite in your mouth. You have got the food already, and then you are drinking water. That is fine. And after your meal, you can have water in good quantity, and there is no time limit as such that you have to wait for this much of time after your meal. Immediately after your meal also you can have water and have good amount of water after your meal. The next question is, what are the symptoms of dehydration? Yes. So first of all, important symptom of dehydration is like lethargy, or people feel weak. Weakness is another symptom of dehydration. Some people lose weight unnecessarily because of dehydration. Some people cannot concentrate well because of dehydration. Some people, and see, if you know the reason of dehydration, you can relate it quickly. So if you have continuous vomiting, if you have continuous loose motion, it is likely that you are getting dehydrated because you are losing a lot of water. In summer, those who sweat a lot and those who are not drinking enough water, they get dehydrated very soon. So these are the symptoms of dehydration. Some people may also be, so especially kids, may get cranky with dehydration. They feel very sleepy. They are lethargic throughout the day. These are the symptoms of dehydration. Kids also have their skin tone, it disappears. So their skin becomes very fragile, and you can pinch it and pinch it easily, and it doesn't come to its original shape and position very soon. So these are some symptoms of dehydration. In eyes also you can see, so your eyes go deep. So these are some symptoms of dehydration, and lot of thirst, dry throat are very quick signs of dehydration. You can, relate them quickly and start drinking fluids immediately after such symptoms. There is another question: is drinking excess of water harmful to the body? Yes, partly true. Because what I've said before, that as you age, you require less water. So if you keep on drinking excess amount of water, the ability of your kidneys to remove excess amount of water, it declines as you age. And even if you have some kidney problems, or if you have problems like chronic renal failure or any kind of kidney acute renal failure, kidney failure, so such people cannot remove excess of water from their body. So for them, it is important to have water in limits. Other people, like young people like you and me, can have good amount of water, but anything in excess is bad. So why do you want to have excess of water? So having water in enough quantity is good than having excess of water. And there is one important sign I would tell you, that if you can observe your urine color, and if your urine looks dark, that means you need more water. And dark urine is another example or another symptom of dehydration. So if you are passing out very less urine or passing out very dark colored urine, that means you need more water. If you are passing pale colored urine or urine like water, that means you are drinking sufficient water. So in that case, I don't think you need to worry about your water and drink excess of water. So avoid excess, avoid less, or insufficient amount of water. Take whatever is needed. So I think I have answered most of the questions. But thank you for joining us today, and I would request all of you to join us every Friday and every Tuesday on YouTube Live. So today we are on Facebook Live because of technical error, but yes, from next coming Friday and from next Tuesday, every day, these 2 days of the week, 7 p.m. We will be live on YouTube, and we will be talking on such important health issues, health conditions, and spreading awareness on some important health-related topics. Our experts will be guiding with simple tips and tricks. So stay tuned with us. See you again on Friday.